Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel, and I'm going to bring you along to our ultimate 2-day lash course. This is day 1, so we're literally just getting ready. My daughter's in the car, my husband's taking us to the course, and we are all going to set up together because this is definitely a family affair because we have to all get together and help. I cannot do this without the both of them, and I had to include this. It's so cute. Like, my daughter absolutely loves playing around with things before I actually start the course. So let's get into it. Okay, so for the first 15 minutes I was getting to know my lovely student. I wanted to know exactly why she's come the course, why she wants to become a lash tech, and this is really important, getting to know her, knowing exactly what motivates her to come on the course and what she wants to get out of the course. In the morning we focus on theory, so the theory of lashes, we go through the lash cycle and all the different theory base, and I think this is really important because we're covering the fundamentals before we actually start lashing.
Ryan Little.
So once we've done this, we talk a lot about client consultation, the kind of pre-consultation questions that you ask when someone actually approaches you wanting a lash appointment, and then we go through exactly how the client consultation will play out when you actually have the client in front of you. So we discuss this in a lot of depth. Once we finish this, we go through the different curls, the thicknesses and the lengths, and we discuss that, so she basically has a better understanding about the actual lash extensions that she can use on the clients. And now it is time to start lashing on our mannequin, and I like to go through everything from the beginning so she has a real idea of how that will play out when she actually has a client in front of her. And I like to show her everything from how to mat to the actual application of a classic lash. So for this first half of the day we are focusing on classic lashes. So I like to go through things right from the beginning to how to hold the tweezers, how to even use glue, how to isolate, how to apply the classic lashes. So I take this step by step, nice and slowly, because I feel like actually mastering how to apply classic lashes is a lot harder than it looks, but this will set someone up for their volume sets and the wispy sets and everything else later on. So I like to really focus on the classic application and the isolation, because that I feel is like the trickiest part. Once you master the isolation, then I feel like you are like good to go with everything else. I'm so proud of my student, by the way, because she was getting this so quickly. Her isolation was so on point. They just looked nice and clean, her work. Her application as well was spot on, so we were just going through it again just to make sure before lunch that she really was confident in how to do this. Okay, so now it is lunchtime. My student definitely deserved a good break. She has done absolutely fantastic, and I know the morning of the first day can be a little bit heavy, so I was like, just have a nice lunch. I popped over to the Sheraton, so I was like, I want to grab a coffee and something to eat. I was absolutely starving at this point, and I was just like, I need anything in my belly. Sometimes I like to just chill and just stay here. It's nice to get out of the room. I'm in a different environment, but the Sky Garden was closed, so I was like, okay, great, let me just head back, and I get to actually do a little bit of work in my break as well. I thought it'd be a good idea to film what I was at, like my coffee and my salad, but I nearly dropped it, so I was like, okay, stop doing that and let's just head back to the room. I actually couldn't wait to dive into this salad. I know no one says that, but I was so hungry, and to also have my coffee, I desperately needed it. and literally all I could hear was the aeroplanes outside because we're based on Bath Road, so basically right near Heathrow, and I was just like, oh, I definitely need to book a holiday soon. Just wanted to make me like get away from this horrible British weather that we've got. I like using my lunchtime to reply back to emails. So we had 2 people reach out and they possibly wanted to come on our next course. I was like, perfect time to actually get back in contact with them. Then I quickly finished my coffee and it was back to lashing. The second half of the day we went back over the classic application. I went through things that my student wasn't feeling 100% confident on, and we actually started to look at the volume sets because she was picking things up so quickly, and I like to tailor these courses to the actual student, so I go based on how quickly they're actually picking things up. We ended the day in this lovely pub that we found near the course, and we had a really nice pub dinner. Day 2, and we were ready for our second day of training, and we all headed out again in the morning, and me and my student basically got stuck straight into it and we started on the volume sets. She was really confident with the isolation. Her work is so nice and clean when it comes to the classic set, so we spent the morning going through volume sets and how to make fans. We focused on 4 different techniques of how to make a fan, so I like to show every single technique to my students, and then it's up to them which ones they want to go away and practice with. To be honest with you, her fans were looking so good, like the bases were so snatched, they fanned out so lovely. She was doing such an amazing job. After we had gone through all of the fan making and she felt confident and she was ready for her model to arrive before lunch, we just went through a little bit about how to build client loyalty. We discussed about how to get clients and so on. We kind of went into more of the business side of things. I think this is a really important part of the course because there's no point my students going away knowing how to lash amazingly well without actually knowing how to gain those clients and how to build that client loyalty. So now it was time for her model, and we decided to do a classic set. I feel like if you can master once again the classic sets, you're all good to go with the Russians. So we decided to do a beautiful classic set on this model. Here I just like to show everything from the eye pads, taping down the bottom lashes, doing the mapping. I like to run through this with an actual person just so my student can see exactly how to do it. I also show my student the different taping techniques, so the inner corners, the outer corners, just to help her with the isolation, because when you're actually lashing on a model, it's a lot harder than lashing on a mannequin because the isolation is a lot more difficult. So I like to show her all the different techniques, all the little tips and tricks that she can use just to make the isolation a little bit easier. And then she was done with her classic set. We managed to do a half set on her model and they turned out so beautifully, so well isolated. The application was just crisp and clean, and she absolutely smashed it. I cannot believe it's day 2 of her lashing. I was so proud of her and she was just so chuffed with the result. Now it's lunchtime again and she so deserved a break. We both decided to grab lunch at the actual hotel where we had the conference room, and I'm so glad I did because they were so sweet and they actually delivered the food once it was ready, and I was so ready to tuck in. And I was like, forget the salad, the side salad I didn't even bother with. I was tucking into the halloumi sandwich, which was so good. But yes, I was like, let me have a little look at any more emails that came through. We had a couple of people that wanted callbacks, so I managed to do that in my lunch break. Then we finished the day with the business and marketing side of lashing, how to set up her lash business, how to market her lash business, and we went into a lot of detail so she felt ready to start her business as a lash tech. At this point, I was answering any questions that she had, anything she wasn't feeling 100% confident on, and I also discussed the ongoing support that she got, because that's what we do. We give ongoing support once our students leave the Lash course. Then it was certificate time. It was my favourite part because it's a chance to celebrate my students, and honestly I was so proud of her. She did just amazingly well. We tried to put the graduation cap on her head and her hair is just so silky, most beautiful hair ever. We were like, just leave it, and it was time for her to celebrate. She had her friend with her, so we were taking pictures and videos of her, and I'm just so proud of her. Thank you for coming along to our 2-day Lash course. Bye!